everywhere we go, we had 35,000 people. In Harrisburg last night, and when I was in Philadelphia, we were in front of Independence Hall, and I got a chance to think a little bit about this country and our founders. And our founders over 2 centuries ago, they said that they would declare independence from British tyranny because the government wasn't listening to them, wasn't speaking for them, wasn't standing up for them in moments of need. And the reason that this country has lasted as long as it has is because every generation we realize we may not have a perfect union, but we can at least perfect it. We can work with each generation to make it a little bit better so that it serves the values of equality and liberty. That our children and our grandchildren are going to be a little bit better. That's how we got through the Civil War. That's how we got through 2 world wars. That's how we got through a Great Depression. That's how we won civil rights and women's rights and workers' rights. Each generation has been willing to sacrifice and work hard to make sure that the next generation is a little bit better off. That we would create a more perfect union. That we would continually strive to make things better for the next generation. But the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we declare independence from the kind of politics that we've seen over the last. Because I believe you, the American people, were tired of politics that was all about tearing each other down. You wanted politics that was about lifting each other. You didn't want to hear more spin and PR. You want a straight, honest talk from your elected officials. I was convinced that you didn't want a politics that was all about dividing the American people. You wanted a politics that could bring us all together, black, white, Hispanic. We would challenge the special interests of Washington, but also challenge ourselves to be better parents, to be better neighbors, to be better citizens. That's the bet that I made when I announced that I was running 15 months ago. And I'm here to report after traveling through 47 states, speaking to hundreds of thousands of folks and shaking hundreds of thousands of hands and kissing hundreds of babies. I am here to report that my bet has paid off because all across Pennsylvania and all across America, the American people are saying we are ready for change. We want George Bush's philosophy. You lose your job, you're on your own. Your child born into poverty, you're on your own. Single mom, don't have health care, you're on your own. We believe in a different philosophy, that we are in it together, that we have to go together. Understand that even before we get to November, we've got a genuine choice that has to be made in this primary election.
My choice.
I know there may still be some folks here that were undecided, so I just want to make clear my argument, my closing argument in the last few days before the Pennsylvania election. Senator Clinton is a smart person. She is a hardworking person. She is tenacious. She has done good work on behalf of her constituents in New York. But she basically, her basic argument, her basic view about this election is that the say anything, do anything, special interest driven politics of Washington, that's how it's got to be. That's how the game is played. And so you should elect her to be your nominee because she's been in Washington longer and she knows how to play the game better. or Democrat. Well, you know what? I disagree with that, because when you ask yourself why it is that we don't have health care that everybody can count on, think that drug and insurance companies have spent $1 billion over the last 10 years in lobbying and contributions and PR. So it's not surprising that the laws that are passed in Washington are very good for them but not so good for you. Listen, we've been talking about the energy crisis since 1970. Wow. And there's nothing new about that. Why is it nothing changes? Well, when you've got the cloud of the oil companies and the gas companies, when Dick Cheney meets with them 40 times when he's putting together energy policy, meets with the renewable energy groups once, it's not surprising that ExxonMobil made $11 billion last quarter, and you're paying $350, $375 a month. We're going to invest in infrastructure, rebuild our roads, our bridges, and our railway lines, and put broadband lines so that everybody has access to the internet. And if people tell you we can't afford to do it, if we're spending $10 billion a month in Iraq, we can spend some of that. Worried about getting health insurance for her child and for herself. She doesn't need more 10-point plans. She needs somebody who's going to fight to make sure that those plans are actually implemented. So I propose a plan to make sure that everybody who's got health insurance will see lower premiums. And if you don't have health insurance, then you can buy health insurance that's as good as the health insurance I have as a member of Congress. If you can't afford it, we'll subsidize it. We won't have to wait 20 years from now to do it, or 10 years from now to do it. We'll do it by the end of my first term.